Hello and welcome to the Rei Sportscar Championship here for the Division 2 feature race at Autopolis racing course. Now this is specifically the short layout, and this is the race where tyres come into play. The soft tyres and the medium tyres must be used, and hopefully that will throw a spanner into the works after a fantastic opening race. So in that opening race, my own Parasite was the victor from pole position. Second place for the feature as well is Cyberstrike, with third place being way too many Atkins here. Fourth is Lewis. Fifth is Average Tom. Sixth is Lozelle. Seventh is Toxic Bacon, with eighth place being Janai Abroad, with Pixtecker in ninth, and rounding up the field in 10th is Awesome X-Ray here in his first Rei Sportscar Championship event. But as we get away here at Autopolis, we do see that my own Parasite is starting on the soft tyres. I'll be curious to see if we have any last lap drama like we did in the sprint race involving Tom Lewis and way too Atkins. We get away here, we've got Cyberstrike in second. He's on an alternative strategy to the Canadians, so that's really great that we're seeing a little bit of variety from the start. Now Cyberstrike does have very good pace, as his qualifying position shows. However, that's a poor run through turn one, and he may drop down the order. Oh, we've also got Lozelle off the track. No, that's not Lozelle. Oh, it was Lozelle, as Lozelle drops down to 8th. And Janai Abroad moves up into 7th, but back up front, it's my own Parasite, way too Atkins there, who got past Cyberstrike on the exit turn 1, and then Lewis in 4th. This time, Cyberstrike isn't spinning so early on in this race, as way too Atkins almost does that. Lewis around the outside here at turn 6. No, when we have a car off, it's Pixtecker on the opening lap. Disaster for him. Oh no, he's gone off way before. What has happened here? Let's go on board. So he was taking things pretty calmly. You can see Lozelle making a bit of a hash of that turn, and oh, Pixtecker just understeered and went on the grass. It takes an eternity to come back, and I think from there he's just got some dirty tyres, which has caused him to lose control again here at the exit of the hairpin. Always got to be wary of dirty tyres. Lewis is now stuck on the outside here for the sort of awkward final turn. It's a downhill hairpin with a little flick to the left at the exit. As you can see, the elevation actually causing a little bit of oversteer for the Pikachu car. One driver who's having a superb start here is Toxic Bacon. He has a little bit less ballast than some of the other drivers, including Average Tom, who is our championship leader and soon to be Division 2 champion winner, as long as he has a good race. You can see Cyberstrike on the inside of way too Atkins into turn 2. We're just on board though with Tom. And all of this fighting here for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th is just allowing the Canadian to pull away again. My own Parasite has a 3-second lead. Oh, around the outside, you wouldn't really see a move there. Oh, but he's pulled it off, I think. No, he hasn't. Lewis keeps it. But Tom is going to find it a little bit more difficult to overtake these drivers due to increased weight. Janai Abroad and also X-Ray pretty close here in the 19 and 30 cars, but not close enough for an overtake just yet. So as we go back towards this battle here for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, we've got way too many Atkins on softs, Average Tom also on softs, and Lewis on softs. So it's only Cyberstrike on the alternative strategy, and he's holding these up pretty well actually. He's got a good chance of a win here as long as he can keep Maya Parasite in sight. Ooh, that's not a good run through turn 1. We may see the position swap yet again. Now these drivers here, Cyberstrike, way too Atkins and Maya Parasite, they've not actually won a race this season. None of them have. But they are occupying those top 3 slots. Now, some of the other drivers here, such as Tom, Lewis and Lozelle, they have won races this season in Division 2. Now, of course, just to slightly correct myself, my own Parasite did win the sprint race here at Autopolis, but before that, he hadn't taken a Rei Sportscar Championship victory. But with driving like this and pace like this, he is sure to make it too. Oh, that's very wide. The medium tyres may be costing him a bit though. Also, Tom has moved up into 4th place. Where has that come about? Okay, it was a long time ago. Apologies for missing that action. Lewis getting the acceleration from turn 1, but turn 2 is actually quite quick here in 3rd gear with over 70 miles per hour at the apex. And you can see Lewis actually dropping back slightly, maybe not pushing as hard. But there's no need to push too hard because it is a 40-minute sprint race with 40 points on offer for the race winner. Just a little bit further back we have Toxic Bacon being caught up by Lizelle. Lizelle did have some good pace near the end of the sprint race, but mistakes in the first half cost him dearly as Toxic Bacon almost running off the track. Lizelle getting what a run, having to swerve out of the way, but around the outside he goes, and then surely he moves up into 6th here. Toxic's on the inside, and that was way too much room given from Lizelle. Ooh, okay. I think Toxic Bacon was just trying to get in, and nothing malicious at all there though. But yeah, Lizelle moving into 6th. Oh, that's a great overtake on the inside to re-overtake there. Oh, but it's all over there. Surely. No, he keeps the speed up there. Maybe the stability management helping him out there to stop his car losing it on the grass and the gravel. This is a superb battle for 6th though. Oh no, what's happened there? Lizelle's hit the grass on the exit of turn 2. He's around. Backwards. Oh, he was off the throttle. Turning and off the throttle. And that is a recipe for disaster. Meanwhile, the driver from 10th, Picksecker, is going off the medium tyres and he will go onto softs, probably for a 2-stop strategy. Yeah, he's on the softs now, so he may be able to catch up the likes of now Lizelle. Toxic Bacon made a mistake. Oh my goodness, wow, in all of that, they've both made a mistake. I somehow didn't catch this. That is a heavy impact there for the Brit. And incredibly synchronised, but that is some superb drifting action to get right on the track. That's one of the best rejoins I've ever seen in the history of the Rei Sportscar Championship. Although, thinking back on it, there was a fantastic rejoin from Sigrez and Nico back in the Super GT days at Autopolis. Back up in the battle for the podium places is Average Tom on the hunt here. He does have worse tyres though than Way Too Many Napkins. So maybe Way Too Many Napkins can push a bit harder, maybe Average Tom will have to do a 2-stop strategy. I don't think Cyberstrike can hold on to 2nd place for too much longer on those mediums. His pace is deteriorating that last lap. And I do feel like Way Too Many Napkins may be the faster over the course of the lap. But the ballast that Way Too Many Napkins has is slight. Oh, and he's more than Cyberstrike. To Average Tom on the inside, they're 3 wide almost as Average Tom bumps his way into 3rd place. A little bit of contact, but nothing malicious at all, nothing deliberate. Lewis on the hunt for a place in the top 4. Oh, and he might get it as we look in that rear view mirror there at the top. Oh no, it's actually Way Too Napkins re-overtaking. Deep dive into that final sweeping turn. And now Lewis has all of Average Tom's rear in his view. just further back there. Lizelle moved back into 8th place. Stayed on the inside, and yeah, there was a little bit of contact, but good move from Lizelle there on Bacon. With all of this fighting, there is now a 7-second gap between the Canadian and the Brit. A fastest lap of 15.0 is a second quicker than they are going behind, although that is probably partially due to being held up by a medium tyre runner, but that is great strategy call from Cyberstrike to do that and really annoy these guys. Average Tom has made a crucial mistake here 20 seconds ago. Oh, he almost hits the ball, but he manages to save it, does lose that one position. Cyberstrike has pitted, he has rejoined in 5th, or is it going to be 6th? He's on the soft tyres now, maybe doing a 2-soft strategy. He's in 5th, ahead of Gianni Abroad, and that is crucial for his strategy, because now he has clean air, new tyres, and even with the 15 seconds he's lost in the pit stop, he is going to go much further ahead of the guys he was fighting once they pit. Shania Abroad in 6th, Lizelle now in 7th, Toxic Bacon in 8th, and also X-Ray in 9th. Oh, at turn 1, he was completely alone. And that's gone all kinds of wrong. And then rounding out the field in 10th is Pixtecker, but he's got some good pace there on those fresh softs, and he may be able to fight also X-Ray once he makes his way through the pit lane. There is a mandatory tyre change, therefore a mandatory pit stop, but drivers may do 2 stops if they feel it is good for their strategy. Lewis in 3rd, looking for 2nd place. And he's also looking for 2nd place in the championship if he's unable to win, which is very, very unlikely with Average Tom here getting some good points and getting some good points in the sprint. As they go side by side, they're not actually as far behind Mayan Parasite now since Cyberstrike's pit stop. Yeah, Cyberstrike's pace, Mayan Parasite's pace is dropping very slightly. And Way Too Much stays in 2nd. They will lose a little bit of time as they pit, as they sort of go side by side, but Lewis with the better run, better acceleration, better line, better everything really, moving into 2nd before turn 2. He also has better tyres. Average Tom's tyres not too bad at this stage of the race. He's probably looking at a 1-stop strategy, same for all of these guys. Cyberstrike is either doing 23 laps on softs, which I think is actually probably possible, or he's doing about 12 laps on softs and then another 12 laps on softs. He did only lose about 13, maybe 14 seconds in the pits though. Would have been a lot worse though if he had got stuck behind 6th place Janai Abroad. Awesome X-Ray is now in 8th because he's just overtaken Toxic Bacon. So going into turn 2 here on lap 9. Good move, clean racing. Oh, I think there may be a little bit of unfortunate contact in the end, but really no one to blame. Let's get a view of this awkward little section of corners from the view of our race leader here. So there's quite a lot of different lines we can take through these corners. This may not be the ideal line as he misses that turn 3 apex, but it does mean he hits the turn 4 apex and gets a wide entry here for the hairpin. And then as you go through the left turn, using all the track here on the entry, and then where do you hit the apex? Is that too early? Is that too late? Who knows? Not me. On board now with Lewis, you can see he's getting a little bit tight on the way to Atkins, who misses the curb. Average Tom's having a little bit of a bad time with it there. He's lost a couple of seconds over the last 3 laps. And Cyberstrike is now only 5 seconds behind him. almost grabbing the final fastest lap there on lap 9. Waytoon Atkins enters the pits, as does every Tom. They are surely on the same strategy, but Cybertruck is going to leap up the order here, be into 3rd place, and yeah, I think with this he may even leapfrog my own Parasite once he makes his tyre change onto the mediums. Waytoon Atkins in 4th, average Tom in 5th. They are just ahead of John O'Broad, or are they? No, John O'Broad splits them. That's dreadful news for average Tom, who has now gone on to the mandatory mediums. Waytoon Atkins though is 100% going for a 2-stop strategy. He's very, very aggressive here, doing the second set of softs, and then he'll have to use the mediums later on in the race, probably for about the remaining 10 laps. The softs are quite good around here, although the mediums do have some pace in them in the first few laps, and their longevity is very... Ooh, I was going to say, yeah, mediums. Really good tyre to use if you want to use them for a very long time. Toxic Bacon in 8th now, X-Ray down in 9th. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Toxic Bacon is surely somehow not facing the wrong way. Our race leader and 2nd place both in the pits. Who is going to come out where? Well, we see Cyberstrike coming down the field. Cyberstrike in 2nd, my own Parasite in 1st, and now on the mediums. And who's going to rejoin in 3rd? Lewis rejoins out of the pit lane. It's a little bit of a dangerous pit lane, really. But Waytoon Atkins does sweep ahead into turn 1. Maybe breaking a little bit late, but he is in 3rd place. Lewis in 4th on the same strategy there as Waytoon Atkins, also doing the 2-stop. Janaya Broad is yet to pit. He's making those soft tyres last a long while. But this is certainly a good strategy if he can make these last about 15 laps, and then maybe go to the mediums for the rest, maybe do a 2-stop using the mediums for only a couple of laps. A lot of different possibilities. He is holding average Tom up, but he has every right to be there. Of course, average Tom does have fresh tyres, and the worn tyres on Broad showing that, ooh, that's a big crash. Well, he gets going, but Lazelle, who's on the same strategy as Janai Broad, is now going to leapfrog him surely into that final turn. Yes, he does. Janai Broad falling down the field. As we go back up to 3rd, we can see that it's a very good outlap there. Sorry, very good sort of first lap there, 15.6. However, Cyberstrike has been setting the timing sheets alight with quicker lap times than that. 15.5, 15.2. 15.0 a few laps ago, and he doesn't have to use the mediums again. Waytoon Atkins and Lewis do, so I think the chance for Waytoon Atkins or Lewis to finish in 2nd place is over. My and Parasite and Cyber are easily the two there fighting for the race win. Average Tom may be able to sneak into 3rd, as I don't think he'll be planning to pit again. But will he be able to have those pace on those mediums for 18 laps? I'm not sure. Lazelle and Janaya Broad 6th and 7th. Their strategy is working out well. There's a yellow flag. Who is it? Average Tom? Way too napkins? It's way too many napkins. So, while trying to pull away from Lewis, he's just clipped that grass just a millimetre. The car didn't really know which way to spin, but it eventually chose to do a Tony Hawk style trick. He rejoins there down in 6th, or is it 7th? Oh, it's going to be even further down. Dirty tyres really catching him out there, and he's on his own. That is a lot of time lost. Cyberstrike is pulling closer to my own Parasite, another 6/10 out of the Canadian, and he's going to be feeling nervous now. My own Parasite doesn't have to pit again. Cyberstrike probably does, although my own Parasite may not really know the true ins and outs here of the race strategy. and maybe thinking that an overtake here means he loses the race win, but that's only going to be if Cyberstrike can pull a very long gap or can make those soft tyres last. Janai Broad has pitted. He is on soft tyres again. So he must be doing a 2-stop then, which means he's only going to be using the mediums for about 4 laps. As we cross the start-finish line, Cyberstrike with a little bit more power there. He's going to overtake Mayan Parasite, take the lead here at Autopolis. Surely, as long as he can brake later. Yes, he can. Great move there for the number 13. Not a good run though, out of the turn through to turn 2. But it is good enough, and he does have worn tyres though. Will he be able to pull that off for another 16 laps, or will he pit in maybe about 6 laps time, set on those mediums, and try and still get the race win? Lewis on his own in 3rd. 5 seconds back is Average Tom here as we go through that awkward 2nd sector. Average Tom does not have to pit again. Rei Atkins in 5th on that 2-stop strategy, which is now completely ruined after the 15 seconds time, lost with the spin last lap. Then it is Lazelle, who's yet to pit. Janai Broad, who has now pitted on fresh softs, but he is on a 2-stop strategy. Toxic Bacon has just pitted and he is put on the mandatory mediums, so that will be to the end of the race. Awesome X-Ray has done the exact same thing, and then it's Pixtecker who is finally back in the action, but his soft tyre is now pretty worn and he may pit in the next few laps for another set of softs. So he is clinging to the back of the field, and just as he catches up Toxic and Awesome X-Ray, it may be time for him to fall back down. Lazelle has made his mandatory pit stop and onto the mandatory medium tyres. He is in 7th now. On his own a little bit, but I think once Janai pits and uses his medium tyres, those two will come back together. We are now in the second half of this race. The leaders on to lap 17 now. As you can see, Cyberstrike leading with 15.2 on the last lap. A few tenths quicker from Mayan Parasite, but we know that Mayan Parasite is on the mediums, doesn't have to pit again, so actually doing 15s on mediums is race winning pace. He is sticking to Cyberstrike, especially with a poor last lap from him. In 3rd place is Lewis on the softs, but he's on a 2-stop strategy, but he is all about that gap to Average Tom. Fairly consistent lap times, but they're consistently slow really on those mediums, especially compared to Mayan Parasite's pace. Then it's Rei Atkins with Janai Broad, who for a moment I thought was pitting, and then it is Lazelle, Toxic Bacon and Awesome X-Ray down in 9th. We are here now on lap 19. Lewis has now gone on to the mandatory mediums. He's about 6 seconds behind Average Tom, but with Average Tom being on worn tyres, that is a battle that we can keep up with over these last 12 laps. In the battle for the race win, Cyberstrike isn't putting that much of a gap now from Mayan Parasite now that his soft tyres are starting to really hit that cliff. But this is probably about when he will pit for the medium tyres. He stays out for now there, as you can see, crossing the line, 16.3. 3 tenths faster than Mayan Parasite, so maybe he can just pull away over the next couple of laps before he pits. Average Tom in 3rd, Lewis in 4th, hunting him down. And it's way too Atkins on his own, probably not going to change his position, although he does need to actually create a little bit of a gap from Janaya Broad, who's on fresher tyres, and doesn't have to use the mediums for as long, probably, as way too Atkins does pit here. I mean that he's doing 12 laps on mediums. Janaya Broad may be able to settle just for about 3 or 4 laps. Janaya Broad will temporarily move up into 5th. You can see way too Atkins' car just coming out of the pit entrance now, but he will drop behind. Or will he? Or will he? Yes, he will. Janaya Broad was close enough. Oh, no, not committed enough. Way too Atkins stays in 5th, so surely that is 5th. Settled and done and signed in the book. Lascelles in 7th, Toxic in 8th, and then it is X-Ray in 9th, Pixtecker in 10th, and our race leader Cyberstrike into the pits there. He will probably rejoin in 2nd on the mediums. Oh no, sorry, not on mediums, he'll be on fresh softs for the last 10 laps, and he has about 10 seconds to make up. If he can go a second lap quicker than the Canadian, he's in with a chance of a race win. So, the current battles is who's going to come out on top for the race win. And we've just seen a swap of positions here. No, sorry, no we have not. Anyway, so the main battles therefore are, can Mayan Parasite hold on here on board mediums? He is 10 seconds ahead, 10 laps to go on a fresh soft tyre runner. Cyberstrike looking for his first win in Division 2. Average Tom, he's now in a battle with Lewis, who's actually, it's a very similar situation. He's on fresh tyres. Whoa, excuse me. Mayan Parasite throwing everything out of the book. He is now going on to a 2-stop strategy out of nowhere, onto those softs for the last 10 laps. He thought, you know what, these mediums are trash. Let's go on to those softs and actually be the one hunting down Cyberstrike. So what a turn of events. Cyberstrike, from doing the hunting, is now going to be hunted, but does Mayan Parasite have the pace? He did qualify pole though, so it is possible. Average Tom, he may have to do something similar to Mayan Parasite. I feel like he's going to be a sitting duck for Lewis. Way too Atkins in 5th. Janaya Broad in 6th, but yet to use medium tyres. Lascelles there in 7th, and then it is Toxic, Awesome X-Ray, and Pixtecker, who has caught to X-Ray, but he has used the softs now for about 20 laps. Will he go the rest of the way on softs? I very much doubt it. He theoretically could, but I feel like 19.5 on the last lap and then another 19 here may show the soft tyres are dead. Lewis has caught up Average Tom here on this lap. Yeah, Average Tom is a sitting duck for the Hungarian, as I predicted, and with just 8.5 laps to go. He drops down to 4th now. As the championship standings show, he will still be the Division 2 champion. Great stuff from Average Tom. Oh, and yeah, as well, there we go, another prediction. He does make a dive for the pits, very similar to my own Parasite. Maybe with this extra pit stop he can hunt down Lewis, but it's going to be a tough task and would require him to again go probably about 1.3 seconds lap quicker. That gap's already shrunk. That gap is now about 4 seconds. So yeah, Mayan Parasite is putting in some good work here on those fresh softs. We'll just compare their lap times once they finish this lap, as this will be Mayan Parasite's first proper hot lap after the pits. But I think Mayan Parasite is on course for a fastest lap. Yes, he is purple sector 2, just 25 thousandths off his previous fastest lap. And there we go, a 14.8, and the first 14 here we've seen in this Division 2 feature race. So he is on fire, gaining 8 tenths just on that last lap alone. Further back, Lewis, not the same pace, but of course he is on mediums. Avery Tom on fresh softs, and yeah, it's going to be one hell of a ride if he gets that 3rd place. Waytoon Atkins in 5th, Janai Abroad in 6th. It has to use mediums, so he will drop about 13 seconds further back from Waytoon Atkins in the closing stages. Lizelle in 7th, who will probably race Janai Abroad near the end. Pixtecker in 9th. Pixtecker in 9th? What? Awesome X-Ray dropping down the order now. He drops down to 10th as Pixtecker takes 9th. Further up, Toxic Bacon doing pretty well here in 8th. It's been a very good performance. He's had some good racing. As we look now to lap 25, there is a car, I think, in the pits. It's Pixtecker. Pixtecker going to be on another set of softs and will hunt down Awesome X-Ray again. Cyberstrike losing 7 tenths to Mayan Parasite that course. Ooh, a little bit of gravel being swept up. This gap is now just 1-2 seconds with 5.5 laps remaining. Lewis in 3rd, Avery Tom in 4th. Yeah, that gap is not closing down enough for Avery Tom to sneak a podium, but he is still going to be the Division 2 champion. Way too many Atkins in 5th, had he still been hunted down by Janai Abroad on those fresh softs, but unless I'm mistaken, I don't think he's used mediums. Maybe I'm mistaken this entire time, but he's gone a long way on softs here. I think he's done a 14 lap stint on softs and then another, currently 11 laps on softs. Well, he may take 5th place for now, which would be 16 points here in this feature race. Meanwhile, 6th place is just 12. With these two battling, Lizelle will have a chance to move up, especially if Janai does have to pit, as I'm pretty sure he does. But let's go further up. I think we have a battle somewhere. It's Pixtecker overtaking Awesome X-Ray. So, oh, Lizelle? No, it's Toxic Bacon going around there at turn 1. I imagined it was a car further down. It's Toxic Bacon. Oh, he's just accelerated a little bit too early. And then swept all of that gravel through his tyres. But that brings us perfectly now onto the race leaders. The gap is just 1.4 seconds now as they go through turn 2. 8 tenths gained further out of him. Cyberstrike really thought he was going to be the one hunting down the Canadian. Oh my goodness. Cyberstrike out of nowhere, losing the lead with just 5 laps to go, cracking under the pressure. Oh, he's Kai-sided himself on the curb. That's had a very similar spin to what he had at the start of race 1. He drops down and loses his chance of a victory and loses what was a titanic and chaotic end here to this feature race. He should still finish on the podium, but he will be absolutely gutted with himself for losing the chance at that race win. Unless Mayan Parasite makes a similar mistake, but he has been Mr. Consistency here this week. Further back, Lewis in for 3rd. Avery Tom in 4th, who is actually gaining 2 seconds. Oh, is that Toxic Bacon? It is Toxic Bacon. Very, very loose, which does mean that Pixtecker is now only 6 seconds behind the Brit. And on those fresh softs, he could take 8th. That would be fantastic for Pix after a terrible, terrible opening lap. Great comeback story for him. And of course, Awesome X-Ray there in 10th. Slowly finishing the race. Further back, Janai Broad has finally pitted, but I'm a little bit confused because he's on softs again. Maybe I'm completely mistaken and he has used the mediums, but My data isn't lined. I feel like I may be confused, but Janai brought on the softs again. Which meant that Lizelle did move under 6th, and now Way Too Atkins is not under pressure anymore. Apologies if I've been mistaken this entire time, and Janai Broad did use the mediums. In this battle for 9th then, it is Pixtecker and Toxic Bacon. Pix sadly with some incredibly good lap times here, gaining 3 entire seconds from the mediums that Toxic Bacon is on, so this strategy just is not working out for the number 33. He's gone a very long way on the mediums, not used the softs enough, and we have seen many other drivers doing the 2-stop strategy. My Own Parasite, Cyberstrike, Lewis, all doing the 2 stops. Even average Tom went on to the 2 stops. And I think Way Too Atkins has as well. Oh, Toxic Bacon is going to get lapped here by Lewis, which is completely fine. But this is a good opportunity for Pixtecker, and let's say just go on board with Pix as we approach these final few laps. So just as we exit lap 27, it's lap 29 now, the leaders are on. Toxic Bacon on the inside there. Pixtecker actually getting a great slipstream of Lewis, and may now go to the inside of Toxic Bacon and racing. They are a lap apart, they are ghosted, so no real chance of damage between Lewis and Toxic Bacon right now. We'll just catch that later on. Let's just have a quick rundown here with just 2.5 laps left. My Own Parasite leads by about 8 seconds from Cyberstrike. And actually, you know what? Cyberstrike's pace has suddenly picked up since that spin. So he may have been able to hold on to the lead. That is gutting stuff. Lewis in 3rd. Average Tom 7 seconds back. And then it's Way Too Atkins in 5th on his own. Lizelle in 6th. Janai Broad in 7th. Pixtecker in 8th. Oh, what's happened here? At the hairpin. So yeah, it's just an overtake at the hairpin. Just far more speed than Toxic Bacon on the fresh softs. Ali just going through him. But the two very similar coloured cars, Pixtecker coming out on top. Then it's Toxic Bacon. And Awesome X-Ray in 10th. So as My Own Parasite approaches the final lap, it has been a double header win unless he has an awful few turns here. 15? No, just a very low 16 for the last couple of laps. He does also have the fastest lap with a 14.8. Cyberstrike in 2nd. Oh, yeah, his pace has really improved. 15.8. He's 2 tenths quicker these last few laps. And he was 2nd quicker not too long ago. Oh my goodness. It's amazing when you can just find the pace when you least need it. Great stuff from Pixtecker to keep going after that lap 1 incident and actually gain 2 positions. And he's had a really fun race. Janai Broad on 7th, still on softs. I am confused. Maybe he's going to put on this last lap, or maybe he did use mediums and I just completely missed it. Maybe I am brain dead. The final round of the season is at Suzuka. That's the full course of Suzuka in these Mazda Roadster touring cars, and then after that we will have special events including a multi-class Group 1 and Group 3 endurance at Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And okay, you know what, this entire time I've not been brain dead. Janai Broad has been doing a free-stop strategy and is using the mediums for that final lap. Meanwhile, My Own Parasite has crossed the line to win here at Autopolis. A double header win, well deserved from the Canadian as he crosses the line. 60 points there for the entire round. Cyberstrike in second, what could have been, but one hell of a performance nonetheless. Lewis coming home in third, actually not too far ahead of Average Tom, so Average Tom has been piling on that little bit of pressure. Great podium from the Hungarian, but it is Average Tom who will cross the line here in fourth to take the Division 2 crown. Well done to Average Tom. Fifth place is way too many napkins. Sixth place is Lazelle there. Good stuff by him. Seventh place is Janai Abroad. A little bit controversial there with using mediums. He got lapped in the pit lane. See if the students decide to be mean to him. Pixtecker in 8th there, making progress. Toxic Bacon in 9th, hectic race for him, and Awesome X-Ray in 10th. We hope we enjoyed this race of the Rei Sportscar Championship. Congratulations there to the Canadian, My Own Parasite. We'll see you at Suzuka.